A seed falling into the soil is not just the beginning of a plant, it's the beginning of life itself. For thousands of years, humanity has performed rituals to honor the earth and increase its fertility. These timeless traditions are woven into the very fabric of our existence, shaping communities, beliefs, and the rhythms of rural life. Today, we'll embark on a journey through ancient harvest ceremonies and agricultural rituals, discovering how they have endured, adapted, and continue to inspire hope and gratitude in the modern world. Let us begin with the sacredness of the soil. For farmers across cultures and centuries, the soil was never merely land to be worked, never just dirt beneath their feet. It was revered as sacred, a living entity capable of nourishing, sustaining, and even testing those who depended upon it. The earth was often personified as a mother, generous with her abundance, yet capable of withholding her gifts through drought or poor seasons. This deep respect for the soil shaped countless rituals, especially at the start of the agricultural cycle. The first sowing of seeds was not a casual affair. It was marked with ceremony, intention, and gratitude, a recognition that the act of planting was a prayer for life itself. In villages from the Mediterranean to the far reaches of Asia, farmers would gather to perform rites, sometimes offering the first handful of seeds to the earth with whispered words of thanks. Even today, in modern farming communities, people often say a prayer or wish for good fortune on the first day of planting. This simple act is a living echo of rituals stretching back thousands of years, carrying forward the belief that our relationship with the land is one of reverence, not just utility. Travel now with me to the ancient world, where harvest ceremonies flourished in civilizations both grand and humble. In ancient Greece, the cycle of planting and harvest was intertwined with the worship of Demeter, the goddess of agriculture and fertility. When the first crops ripened, villagers held elaborate festivals, offering the best of their harvest to Demeter as a gift in gratitude for her blessings. These celebrations, known as Thesmophoria and Eleusinian Mysteries, were not just religious observances. They were moments for communities to come together, reaffirming bonds and sharing hopes for a prosperous future. The Romans, too, honored the agricultural gods. Their rituals centered around Ceres, the goddess of grain. At the time of the harvest, the first sheaves of wheat or barley were consecrated, sometimes woven into intricate garlands, and carried in procession to the temples. The ceremonies were meant to bless the fields, but they also served to unify rural villages, reinforcing the idea that abundance was a communal gift, not just an individual achievement. Through these festivals, the ancient world celebrated not only the fruits of the land, but also the spirit of cooperation and shared destiny. Let us move eastward to the rich agricultural landscapes of Anatolia, a region where harvest rituals have deep roots, dating back to the earliest farming civilizations. In Anatolia, the act of cutting the first wheat was imbued with spiritual significance. Farmers would select a small bundle of the initial harvest, tie it carefully, and leave it standing in the center of the field. This was an offering to Mother Earth, a gesture of thanks for her generosity, and a plea for continued abundance. Communal harvest gatherings, known as imeshi, were a hallmark of Anatolian village life. During imeshi, families and neighbors would come together to work the fields, share meals, sing songs, and recite prayers for a fruitful harvest. The rituals were both practical and spiritual, ensuring that hard work was accompanied by a sense of unity and shared purpose. Elders played a key role in these ceremonies, often setting aside the first wheat harvested as a guarantee of prosperity for the coming year. These traditions, passed down through generations, reflected the belief that abundance was not merely the result of individual effort, but the blessing of community and earth working in harmony. Harvest rituals were never solely religious. They were deeply social as well. Festivals marking the end of the harvest season brought villagers together in joyous celebration. Songs were sung, dances performed, and meals shared beneath the open sky. These gatherings reinforced the ties that bound people to each other and to the land. The belief underpinning these traditions was simple and profound. Work done together brought greater abundance. It was an affirmation that the spirit of cooperation and collective joy was as essential to the harvest as the sun and the rain. Even today, the echoes of these ancient rituals resonate in village festivals and weddings. The songs and dances performed carry the memory of agricultural rites, embedding the gratitude and hope of past generations into the celebrations of the present. Through music and movement, people honor the legacy of their ancestors, ensuring that the spirit of the harvest endures. The march of time has transformed agriculture, replacing hand tools and oxen with tractors and combine harvesters. Yet, even in the modern world, the essence of agricultural rituals remains. Farmers still say prayers as they sow seeds, recognizing that their efforts are dependent on forces beyond their control. In some communities, the first crops harvested are shared with the needy, reflecting the belief that abundance is a gift to be shared, not hoarded. These acts of generosity are themselves rituals, expressions of gratitude and hope that continue to bind communities together. Urban life may seem far removed from the rhythms of rural farming, but even in cities, the ancient traditions endure in subtle ways. When someone plants a seed in a pot on their balcony or tends a small garden in a backyard, they participate in a modern fertility ritual. Watching a sprout emerge from the soil is an act of hope, a reminder that life can flourish even in the most unlikely places. These small acts connect us to the agricultural roots of humanity, bridging the gap between past and present. Across cultures and eras, agricultural rituals share a common thread: gratitude for nature and hope for the future. Every seed planted is like a prayer, an expression of faith in the earth's generosity. Every harvest ceremony is a thanksgiving, a moment to recognize the gifts received and the bonds that unite people, land, and community. These rituals remind us that our well-being is intertwined with the cycles of nature and the support of those around us. Through the ages, gratitude has been the foundation of agricultural traditions. Farmers have always understood that the success of the harvest depends on forces beyond their control: weather, soil fertility, and the mysterious workings of nature. Rituals provided a way to express thanks, seek blessings, and cope with uncertainty. In times of abundance, ceremonies celebrated the gifts received. In times of scarcity, they offered comfort and hope for better seasons ahead. The act of gathering together, sharing food, and performing songs and dances reinforced the sense of belonging and mutual support. Hope, too, is at the heart of agricultural rituals. Planting a seed is an act of faith, trusting that the earth will provide, that the rains will come, and that the harvest will be plentiful. Rituals helped people to navigate the unpredictability of farming, offering reassurance and a sense of control. By honouring the cycles of nature, communities affirmed their resilience and ability to endure. These traditions taught that even in the face of adversity, hope could be renewed with each new planting. In many cultures, agricultural rituals were closely linked to fertility, not only of the land but of people and animals as well. The success of the harvest was seen as a reflection of the fertility of the earth, which in turn was connected to the health and prosperity of the community. Rituals often included symbolic acts to encourage fertility, such as the sprinkling of water, the use of sacred seeds, or the performance of dances mimicking the growth of plants. These ceremonies expressed the desire for abundance in all aspects of life, reinforcing the connection between land, family, and future generations. Over time, agricultural rituals have adapted to changing circumstances. New technologies and social structures have altered the way people farm, but the underlying values remain. The rituals may be less elaborate, but their meaning persists. Whether through a simple prayer, a shared meal, or the planting of a seed, people continue to honor the earth and express hope for the future. Today, as we reflect on these ancient traditions, we can find inspiration in their enduring relevance. The challenges faced by early farmers, uncertain weather, the need for cooperation, the importance of gratitude, are still with us. In a world where food production is increasingly industrialized, the lessons of agricultural rituals remind us to value the land, cherish community, and approach life with humility and hope. Consider the power of ritual in your own life. When you plant a seed, whether in a garden, a window box, or even in your imagination, you participate in a tradition older than history itself. You join generations of people who have looked to the earth with gratitude and hope, seeking abundance for themselves and their communities. The simple act of nurturing a plant becomes a connection to the cycles of nature, the wisdom of ancestors, and the promise of renewal. As we conclude our journey through the world of harvest ceremonies and agricultural rituals, remember that every seed is a hope, every harvest a thanksgiving, and every ritual a connection. These traditions are more than relics of the past. They are living practices that continue to shape our relationship with the land and each other. If you find meaning in discovering the hidden stories of mystical and cultural rituals, keep exploring and learning. Each tradition carries lessons about gratitude, cooperation, and the enduring bond between people and the earth. By honoring these rituals, we not only preserve our heritage, we also find ways to nurture hope and abundance in our own lives. Perhaps one day, the simple act of planting a seed will remind you of an ancient ritual still alive within us, a tradition of gratitude, hope, and connection that has sustained humanity across time and place. Let us celebrate these rituals, cherish their wisdom, and carry their spirit forward, ensuring that the seeds of gratitude and hope continue to flourish in the hearts of all.